So recently there was this video that came out. Firstly, let me pre-state that I like this video. To give credit where credit is due, I'm going to be linking it down below in the description. It came out recently. Honestly, go watch it. It is a good video. Well, to put it shortly, it's about these guys and they go to the Warrens Museum. During their visit, they are exchanging the Annabelle doll out of the case to a new case for reasons said in their video. I'm not going to go too much more into it because if you want to know, go watch it. But while I was watching the video, something happened. Didn't happen today. A couple days ago. I'm not gonna lie, when it happened, I kind of just paused it and went and did something else. I know they say that, like, and by they, I guess I mean those in, like, comments and such, because I remember I've seen people say this type of stuff before, like, don't worry, it's just a video. And yeah. But I think there's a certain level of intention. And again, let me pre-state, I'm not saying that the guys who made this video meant this. I'm talking more like you as your individual person. So all my life I've kind of had a lot of weird stuff happen to me.
Yep.
And this wasn't too far out of the ordinary. But as I was watching that video, I remember out of my peripheral vision, all the lights on and such. All the lights were on when this happened. I saw literally right behind my computer, they had a laundry basket. And I had my laptop sitting on this little TV dinner stand, and in front of it was a little bit of space and then the laundry basket. For a moment, I saw this short, dark shadow thing. When I, of course, looked up, it was gone. As such, these things do. But yeah, I think at that point I was kind of like, let me just close this. I did eventually go back and watch the rest, but that came to mind. I have a lot of stories with stuff like this, and you know, it's either I'm completely crazy or there's actually something there. Personally, I do believe that there are other things and such like that, but you as your individual person can believe what you want. One of the such occasions that I decided I would say, because there's some things that I'm just not willing to talk about. And there's a lot of things that I have not told no one. I remember I was in high school and I had a friend over. Time I lived at my dad's house. And went down the street. It was me, two other friends. We were just outside, you know, just shooting the shoot, being weird. I don't remember too much around the situation, but I do remember I gazed down the street, all the way at the end, many, many houses down, and I saw this woman in like a white-ish gown, like almost like a nightgown, going across the street very hurriedly. Now, I had lived in this neighborhood for a very long time. Although I didn't know everyone, I don't think I've ever seen this woman there before. Especially not down there. Well, it'd be one thing to be like, okay, hallucinations, you know.
Got it.
Yay! But the problem was I looked to one of my friends, actually to both of them. Looked to one of them first. I'm like, did you see that? Yes. She did.
Oh god.
And then we looked to our third friend. And it's the same thing. She also saw it. So, I know I've heard, like, the concept of mass hallucinations. But 3 people seeing it at once, it's crazy.
I'm an idiot.
Now, we'll pre-state that later on, the third friend would tell me, like, a year or so later that basically she never saw it.
I'm here.
She did a lot of stuff like that. So I feel like that might have just been her trying to join in on what me and my other friend saw, but I have talked to the second one and she did see it. So who knows on that one specifically.
Here.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Another thing that has happened when I was young, so I'm gonna go ahead and like dig deep down to the recesses of my memories to see, because there's so many things that happened, like I can't even like count them on all my fingers. I have to actually sit for a second, kind of be like, let's try and remember this one, because a lot of them have just been so buried. It's at a point where it's just normal. Like, oh, on the school bus, going to school, what's that? Oh well, keep going. I guess the way that I've kind of decided to term it, I would consider myself to be aware of a lot of the things around me. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, oh, I can sit here and I can conjure the spirit of your dead grandmother. No. Maybe I could try. But whatever answers, I have no control over. And I will not sit here and say that this XYZ thing is what XYZ thing says it is. Because just like people, things lie. And in many cases, find it hilarious. It's like you're in a room and you just have a feeling that it's like you just know. And I've tested this before with other people. I'd go into a room because I feel like some people, I feel like everyone to some extent is inherently this way. They just kind of like mute themselves down to it, even if it is just a little bit. And of course, obviously, the more you mess with it, the more you open yourself up to it, the more it happens, blah blah blah. But just to check myself to make sure I'm not completely crazy, you know, because I did go through this whole spurt in high school where I just couldn't sleep. I didn't want to sleep. I don't like coffee, so I'd get sodas and such simply for the caffeine to keep myself from going to sleep. Like, I would just sit at the kitchen table or in my room with the light on and just abuse caffeine and try not to fall asleep because I was absolutely terrified during that time.
I'm ready.
Nowadays, I don't really do that, and I guess I've kind of grown more accustomed to these things. Especially around that time, things were pretty hectic. So I'd bring people into the rooms or something, or I'd just be walking like me and one other person.
I'm ready.
Sometimes two, but usually just me and one other, just because. And I'd ask them, I say, in this empty room, you know, if there was someone in here,
or beats us down,
like quote unquote ghost, spirit, whatever it be.
Yep, me too.
If you had to make like an actual proper guess of where it is,
I'm going to be though.
Where would you say it was? And me, I'd be standing there, and I'd already have in my mind, knowing where I know it is. Like, I've gotten very good at pinpointing. Like, it's to a point now where if I'm really honing in on it, I know exactly like where it's moving as it's moving.
I did.
At times, not all the time. Sometimes I'll lose it, you know. Especially the more that I mess with it.
Watch out for scions.
A lot of these times, I think pretty much every single time I've done this, this is basically just my way of checking to see, am I the only one? Like,
alright, cool.
These people, like, for example, they'd point, like, a certain direction, like to a corner, or just out in the middle of the room, or behind, in front, wherever, in a chair. And it'd click for me. I'm just like, shit. I'm not alone in that. And pretty much everyone, if they want to,
nice. That's a good one.
can. We are more aware to these things than we realize we are. More aware than we like to admit that we are. In high school, I had this spurt of... I was in this group. You know, I was just a teenager, needing to know things. And as I stated before, I was very not okay at the time. Before high school, I didn't really have many friends or anything like that. kind of reverting back to that nowadays. Not so I got people around me who are good people, you know, but circles grow smaller, circles grow bigger. It's how it is. And in this group,
Fixed odds.
a lot of us would just kind of experiment with these things, you know. We'd predict stuff. I remember, and this is gonna sound absolutely insane, I swear on my life with this. We kind of put together, we had like this one girl who could kind of see visions and such. And then we had another, and I'm pretty sure now that I think back to it,
Yeah.
who could like astral project and stuff. So basically we'd do all these things, and a lot of times we'd do it separate, and then we'd come together and we'd analyze our results, you know? Now I haven't talked to most of these people in this group in years, but we'd know stuff. And a lot of it, you know, was just us messing around, goofing. One of the things that we ended up guessing was that at the turn of 2019, the way we interpreted it was something really bad was going to happen. You know, we didn't know it would be like a pandemic or anything. We weren't that good. We knew something was off about it. I think we even went as far as to joke about, like, oh, the end of the world, you know. But, of course. However, I don't think we were the first, because looking online, I did see some people who had some guesses of that sort. But again, now that the event has gone and passed, you say that, and everyone is just kind of like, you're only saying that because it already happened. Well,
Yeah.
in any case, if you would like to hear more, like, just sit down convos like this, if you have any questions, comment them down below. Subscribe, like, I won't force you to do anything, obviously, but I definitely have a lot of things that I could say, a lot of stories from my past, things that I've seen. I'll see y'all next time.